Great. Pleased to be back. We had a couple of technical difficulties, but all is good now in the world of technology. So I'm pleased to introduce Matt Schneider, Managing Director of Optika Solutions, a leading data science company that has been involved in data science since way before data science was a sexy environment. So Matt will be presenting accelerating the deployment of SaaS business models in traditional METS companies. Matt is globally recognized as a thought leader in the algorithmic economy, having widely published and presented in this area. Matt has worked with a number of clients at the cutting edge of technology to deliver innovative outcomes that have achieved world-class competitive advantages. Matt is on a number of university advisory boards for engineering, data science, and master's programs for both UWA, Murdoch, and Curtin. Matt's founding company, Optika, has also won many innovation awards in the leveraging of data. Matt, it's a pleasure to have you here. Over to you.
Thanks, Rick. And it's a real pleasure to be here today and being able to present in this amazing conference. I'd like to thank Reed and the sponsor for the opportunity to speak here today. I'm here as the founder of Optika Solutions, a company that I would describe as a data science consulting business founded back in 2006. Back then, data science was just emerging as a capability in the resource sector, and I've been privileged to be involved in this very exciting industry in a leading global jurisdiction. Australia has one of the most competitive mining, oil and gas industries in the world, with an abundance of numerous natural resources and a home to 5 of the 25 largest mining companies globally. In addition, Australia is also the world's largest exporter of LNG. Australia has a vibrant, innovative and leading-edge supply chain that supports resource companies both domestically and internationally. Underpinning the advances in the resource sector is the changing face of technology with the rapid deployment of autonomous machinery, the rise of sensors, resulting in big data challenges and in the identification of data and this across the value chain. Technology is transforming the resource sectors. Self-driving trucks are hauling ore across pits, while the sensors are monitoring pipeline networks and robots are repairing equipment. Machinery, often shouldering the dirtiest and most dangerous work, is moving towards increased automation and ultimately more safer mines. Sensors are driving mining towards an era of big data, whilst data analytics and digital technologies are enabling deeper and more sophisticated decision-making processes and rapidly heading towards an AI-augmented decision-making world. Advances in automation, sensors and analytics offer the Australian mining and energy supply chain industries an enormous opportunity to expand the delivery with significant economic impact. The gross value add benefits to the Australian economy has been estimated to exceed $65 billion per year by 2030. Furthermore, productivity improvements to be gained in the sector from all those Industry 4.0 has been estimated to range from 25% to above 50% by 2030. And in the main, this is not an elimination of labour, but a significant improvement in leveraging the value realisation of the mining asset. Yeah. So our purpose is to accelerate. The level of improvement, of course, is not restricted to the mining industry, but all industries, and the central theme is data and the enormous insights that data can provide in support of short-term interval control, feasibility and evaluation studies, operational improvement, scenario planning, and ultimately improving how we make decisions. The important thing here is data enables insights, and those insights assist in decision-making or can provide these new insights to support innovation. And let me tell you, we are always surprised by how our clients can actually harness this and able to gain new innovation insights from their data and ultimately extract value. And our sector is changing. It's changing rapidly. A sector where innovation was not known to move with great speed, a sector where exploration risks are significant in their own right, as are the expected operational and geotechnical variations within an operating mine. But when we are faced with potential productivity improvements of 25 to 50%, as mentioned earlier, the appetite for innovation has certainly shifted, and it's great to see. Countries across the world have recognised the economic impact this digital revolution or Industry 4.0 is having. Governments across the world have invested heavily in fostering their innovation ecosystems to encourage entrepreneurs to innovate and stake their footprint on this new land of opportunity. This is creating a gold rush type environment in what is becoming a very busy and crowded innovation space. More importantly, it is not a space for just new tech type savvy entrepreneurs. There is also a highly attractive environment for well-established businesses with strong domain expertise, where leveraging your knowledge and know-how can also unlock hidden data and provide you new revenue streams that can shift the economic value of the enterprise and set you on a global scaling for your newfound business models. So how real is the impact of this digital transformation? Accenture estimates that digital disruption threatens to replace around half of the companies in the current S&P over the next 10 years. And that's right, that's half. So things are changing. But digital also drives industrial reinvention, with companies using advanced digital technologies to transform their corporations, their worker and customer experience, and ultimately their business models. So today we'll discuss what are the underlying drivers to accelerate your deployment of your digital solution, how to accelerate the deployment of your SaaS model, and ultimately how to reinvent your business and add intrinsically new capabilities and offering to your markets, and ultimately more revenue to your bottom line. Changes that will accelerate your journey in this highly competitive new environment, or the digital gold rush, as we describe in Optika. So perhaps it's important just to reflect on where we started from. Our journey in this world started back in 2006. Optika started out as a specialist data science company, and we've been servicing the needs of a lot of blue chip clientele. And that includes the names that you would expect: BHP, Woodside, Rio, FMG. We have as well delivered sophisticated solutions in healthcare, manufacturing, fast-moving consumer goods with clients such as WA Health, Parent Institute, Watercorp, Horizon, Woolies, and many others, and having won numerous innovation awards, as mentioned by Rick. We've been an AWS partner for over 5 years. We've been fortunate enough to present internationally with AWS, as well as having other relationships with Azure, Airflow, Cisco, and many other technology and digital platforms. We've deployed over 1,000 models and developed over 500 new algorithms. So what is the commonality across all of these examples? And what are the drivers for success? Well, the driver for success is always the innovation, the vision to see what is possible with data, the ability to understand what your client's needs are, and what are the jobs that you're attempting to disrupt. And how can you change these jobs? How to create a new value proposition. Data is a wonderful thing. There are different types of families of data, like internal data, external data, synthetic data, simulated data, and the list goes on. The important thing, though, is that data can provide new insights. It can augment decision-making, it can automate, it can be downloaded, it can be played with. But more importantly, from our experience, it's what you can do with it and how you can template it. How can you make it more accessible? And how can it be predictive, or can it be prescriptive? But above all else, it creates value, enormous value. And what are the challenges in realizing this value? Speed. The challenge is the need to move fast in an ever-changing world. And we saw that earlier today with some of the keynote speakers such as Graham. So as we've mentioned, we're in this digital gold rush to staking our digital disruption claim. Cloud architecture and data science are also key capabilities, and there are complexities with both. Finding the talent or the right partners that will assist you in deploying your innovation and deploying your newfound IP is, in our view, the path to success. Your path to success, your core competency, is not the need to build a great data science team or a great expert team able to leverage all the cloud architecture options available to you. Your path to success is to understand your customer, to understand the new, to find the path to disruption, to ensure the disruption is of enough significant scale that your claim in this new digital gold rush matters enough that it won't be ignored. We believe in this so much that we have reset our business and are now focusing on assisting our clients and accelerating the development of their SaaS models, and we're doing that today. In this way, we can leverage our expertise, remaining at the very forefront of cloud architecture, solutions, data science, machine learning, and AI capability to accelerate the value creation of our very entrepreneurial clients. And it is really exciting to see what they're capable of doing. It's quite mind-blowing. So back to cloud architecture, which today provides the vehicle to easily access valuable data in a secure cloud environment with access to powerful computing capability that only a few years ago was beyond the commercial viability by the largest corporates. The rate of technology development in this space, as well as the establishment of scale cloud infrastructure, would require a paper on its own right. Furthermore, cloud architecture is not just AWS or Azure or Alibaba. A myriad of emerging niche solutions that leverage this architecture are rapidly emerging and providing an amazing opportunity for additional innovation. Some focus on accelerating the deployment of AI capabilities. Others facilitate orchestration of multiple models within an ecosystem. All this capability is there to unleash the power of data science and ultimately your own creativity. So what is data science? Data science at its core is an interdisciplinary field that uses scientific methods, process algorithms and systems to extract knowledge and insights from many structured and unstructured data. It's been around since the late 1990s. But using data to build predictive models isn't new. Optimization isn't new. We've done it back in the 80s with statistical regression and linear programming. We use data for process control. The whole era of Six Sigma, Lean, is all about making better decisions and improving processes. So why is data science now different and better? Well, a lot of the stuff we do today in data science isn't new. What is new is the tendency to think up weird and wonderful names for stuff. But in essence, two major changes happened from the time that computers enabled the use of statistical software packages to learn from historical data. The first is a change in the fundamental theory behind how statistical models and mathematical models learn from data. That happened around in the early 1990s. This new theory, described in the book Fundamental Statistical Learning, gave way to a new family of model structures, network-based structures. These structures closely resemble the human brain's architecture and compare the equations of traditional regression models. And this is the birth of neural networks and support vector machines. This also brought a shift in the focus of what analysts did when they built models. In the past, much effort went into reducing the dimensionality, or trying to make it simpler. If it's not, the statistical models couldn't be solved. And this is the curse of dimensionality, and it's always been one of the key challenges that we're faced within Optika for our clients. But the new structures that exist today can handle as many dimensions as you like. So the focus went into finding more complex model structures to find a suitable solution, and thus more complex problems could be solved. So for the first time, problems like character recognition, face recognition, and human gene arrays could be tackled. In fact, we're seeing this capability being applied around COVID globally to accelerate the development of the vaccines that we're now seeing coming to development. But what limited this new paradigm to make big waves in the industry was a limit in compute power and particularly computing memory. Then came the mid to late 2000s and computing caught up. Enter the massive parallel processing. And suddenly compute power became less of an issue, enabling us to be handled much more complex structures and ultimately deep learning. And we're already seeing the event of winning Go by Google's DeepMind project. So the change now and the focus has moved from these algorithms to solving these complex problems and ultimately being able to ensure that our systems become more automated and more autonomous. And we're certainly seeing that with the advent of the autonomous trucking fleet. But the challenge has always been the stack is expensive and adoption is limited. The advancement of cloud has changed all of this. Cheap on-demand, high-end compute is now available to even the smallest players in the market today. What we are now seeing is a shift from continuously building an internal compute infrastructure to the rapid consumption of data, ML techniques and insights. In all of this, the traditional regressions didn't become obsolete. In fact, they got a massive boost back into popularity, and often with a weird name. Today, we have a plethora of possible ways to approach data problems. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. It provides an enormous opportunity to create new revenue streams and reinvent your business in the process to stake your digital gold claim ahead of your competition. So it's no longer good enough to just have a look at data science, it's how do you create revenue streams from it? And that for us is really where we're seeing the future. We're now seeing the future, and the key challenge for all companies to consider is how can they adapt their current business ecosystem to deploy a SaaS business model. Can you be in market inside 3 months with a new service offering? These sorts of challenges that would have been taking months, if not years, to develop in traditional techniques can now be solved very quickly, and they can be monetized very fast. So why should you consider establishing a software as a service or a SaaS business model? Well, data science today, supported by the right architecture, provides every organization with an opportunity to develop their own SaaS revenue stream. This does not just apply to historical software manufacturing. SaaS models today are the manner in which companies can commercialize the value they can create from data for their clients to be their own leader of the pack. And what we're seeing when it's done properly is the ability to codify their internal knowledge, being able to market in new and innovative ways, and ultimately increase the revenue streams. Valuations emerging from recurring revenue streams are multiples of revenue, not EBITDA, and establishing a SaaS model in your business will shift your valuation like a Richter scale 9 earthquake. There are many benefits to SaaS models. SaaS business models are highly scalable. We have clients who are now globally scalable. SaaS business models reduce time to deliver benefits. SaaS business models deliver higher level of adoption and faster. SaaS business models deliver a lower level of friction in the sales process. SaaS business models allow you to upgrade and improve faster and in delivering immediate benefits to your clients. If you're a subject matter expert, you can scale globally where your personal time was your limiting factor. And finally, in this new digital gold rush, everyone is racing to stake their claim. And so, in closing, the digital revolution is reshaping our industry. The productivity gains available are enormous, and innovation is encouraging and welcomed more than ever. The fast disruptors will take the lead. Those that are disrupted will invent. Those that are slow will struggle. Collaboration is faster than competing. Find your partners. Above all else, in a digital gold rush, find a way to pick up speed, because speed to market is king. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. That's a very impressive presentation once again. So you're encouraging people to start sort of finding their SaaS model. In the work that you're doing, are you seeing this trend emerging? Are you seeing this level of collaboration being possible? Is there a fear of loss of IP?
Initially, there was some concerns around IP leakage, but what we're now finding is that the speed to deliver innovative business models through SaaS approaches makes it no longer relevant. And certainly we're finding in the market now that people want to move quickly, and it's just a matter of iterations. And it's quite amazing how fast companies can move, and IP becomes obsolete very quickly in this space.
And in your engagement with your clients in the market, is this typically just available to new entrepreneurial companies that are sort of digital companies, or are we talking about traditional companies where perhaps they never would have thought of a digital solution as a possible opportunity for new revenue?
Thanks, Trent. It's a really good question. Initially, we thought it would just be predominantly, the innovation guys, unearth type characters. But what we're now finding is a lot of METS companies are now realizing that for them to survive and thrive, they need to embrace this digital world. And so we're finding a lot of our clientele now are coming from traditional MET sector, who are wanting to innovate and ultimately increase their value prop that they have, and ultimately be more profitable. So it's across the board now. In fact, if you're an established player with a lot of data, you have a competitive advantage in your data.
And what sort of, and so are the companies that you're engaging with, do they have a really clear view about what's possible, or are companies struggling to find how to create value from the data they have?
We have a combination. So some companies have a very clear idea of what they want to do, and it's a matter of just being very focused on that execution, while others are more, we think we know what we want to do. But what we're finding is we've got techniques now where we can take an ideation process and really help shape organisations on that journey, and then identify where they've got low-hanging fruit to create immediate value. And once they get on that journey and they start seeing success, then the creativity comes into their own, and they can accelerate what they're doing.
And can you share a success story, or perhaps more interestingly, an example of how a group of companies or a company was actually thinking about what to do with data and came up with something very creative that you weren't expecting, that kind of surprised you?
Absolutely. So, we've got a number of companies all working with us trying to accelerate a SaaS solution. And we've got one particular company that was very interested in being able to do a really basic a linear optimization problem. So just trying to figure out how to optimize a truck fleet. And then once we started, they got more and more interested in what they could do with their data. And they've now realized that their data could represent a whole new industry and a whole new service offering outside of their core business. And they're now evaluating what that commercial business model could be for them and extending it out to truck fleet management, maintenance, reliability, etc. So you certainly see these things pop up that you just, you don't expect to see.
And I've often heard the challenge of being close to your customer and knowing your customer. I assume that the most successful companies that can move the fastest are the ones that actually understand where the disruption can take place. Is that a logical conclusion, or does it come from other areas as well?
I think it's a logical conclusion, Rick. I think certainly what we're seeing, particularly working with METS companies who really understand the end user, the BHP, Rio, etc. They know where the pain points are, and then what they're trying to do is figure out better ways of helping them to service and address that pain point or a gain point, and ultimately digitalizing that job. And because they know it so well, it's actually really great to work with them to figure out how we can apply technology to accelerate that. And certainly, the domain knowledge is really important in how you actually create these SaaS business models.
As always, Matt, it's a very insightful conversation. I'm sure that there will be a lot of people out there that will be pondering whether they have a SaaS model within their business and how to actually leverage that. So thank you very much for taking the time. We had a bit of a clunky start, being a technically driven organization, but it's good to see that we finished on an upside. So thank you very much for your time and for sharing your experience and knowledge in the sector, Matt. So for Matt.
I was going to say thanks, Rick, and everybody. I appreciate everybody's time as well.
Thank you. And so for the rest of the audience, we're heading towards the next round of roundtables. We do have the threats of and the opportunities of cybersecurity and blockchain. Rowan Fenn is a fantastic presenter, and I highly recommend you consider having that conversation. And the second roundtable, roundtable number 4, is in actual fact Matt, who will be having a more intimate discussions around SaaS business models. So if you found what Matt spoke about interesting, you might want to pop into the roundtable and perhaps ask some more specific questions. So I hope you enjoy your roundtable. And after that, 1 to 2:30 Perth time, we'll have our lunch break. And I'll see you all back at 2:30 Perth time or 4:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time. Thank you, and thank you, Matt. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.